Where do they find the men on this season of Love is Blind? Every year I say, oh my god, the men are getting worse. They're so trash. But it just keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse. What are the background checks? I'm now getting comments about Nick being on a Are We Dating the Same Guy scandal. What is going on here? But let's start with the men and their red flags. I'll summarize them. Let's start off with Leo. Boring, rich, and makes being rich his own personality, but also his sob story. He has a lot of narcissistic traits. He's very selfish and very controlling. That whole scene with Hannah was a masterclass in emotional manipulation. Next, we have Steven. He claims that he's a centrist, but he voted for Trump instead of Hillary because Trump allegedly had better policies. That one speaks for itself. He's clearly a fetisher. He fetishes black women. He fetishes people of color. He also fetishizes blackness. He's about 0.3% black according to Ancestry.com, and he's making it his whole personality. He's clearly struggling in the white world of dating, so now he's coming to harass black women and POC women instead. He's racist. That Mutt comment was wild, and I can only assume there's worse things to come. Him trying to come across as a relatable serial cheater. You tried it. Tyler. Now, people seem to be loving Tyler, but for me, there was a red flag that I saw in the pod. And it was that whole conversation where he was basically telling Leo not to go for his usual type. And he was basically talking about, like, this was pretty recently, but basically outside of the pods, he's a dog, basically. That he basically gobbles women up and spits them out. He uses them and then he blocks them. That's the story he was painting. And it sounded like it was pretty recent. And then he starts talking about he doesn't want an attractive woman. He wants a safe woman. And that's what Ashley is to him. Bearing in mind, he doesn't know what Ashley looks like. Ashley is a baddie. But he's assuming that she's not a baddie just by talking to her. What context, what codes is he using to decipher that she is the safe option, not the baddie? I strongly suspect it's because he visualized Ashley being this wholesome black church girl. That's who he was visualizing. He wasn't visualizing a baddie. Another red flag from him is the way that he talks about his mother being a single mother and struggling and doing everything around the house, doing everything for them, working a morning shift, working a night shift, being exhausted, going hungry while they had food to eat and she didn't. And he talks about it very fondly, and he talks about it like he appreciates her mother's struggle. And it doesn't seem like he's thinking like, oh, I wouldn't want my wife to go through what my mum had to struggle through. It's giving very much like he's gonna expect his wife to be putting in the work like his mum did. Because he was emphasizing the whole you go to work, I go to work a lot. He was talking about, oh, it's not the 1940s, it's not the 1950s, all to immediately segue into the, I'm the protector, I'm naturally the protector. Are we doing gender roles or not, sir? Are we doing gender roles or not, sir? But we're seeing the one that he's picking. He wants to be the protector, he wants to be the man. But you can help me pay the bills, though. Your ass gotta go to work, though. And you better bring me my 50%. But it's the ladies who want to pick and choose, eh? All of that, to me, is a red flag. So he's too fresh off the F-boy train. I don't know. Maybe he's been praying real hard and he's reformed over the last 2 weeks, but we'll see. Tim. I feel like he probably has the least amount of red flags out of the bunch. Actually, no. I wouldn't say second smallest amount of red flags out of the bunch. And it was going kind of well until the last episode. But for me, the red flags with Tim is I kind of feel like he has unresolved trauma. He says that he's gone to therapy, but I feel like he has very unresolved trauma. And I'm not sure, I kind of low-key feel like maybe he is projecting the image of his sisters on to Alex, like even gifting her the bracelet, which I feel like is a nice gesture, but I also feel like I would feel very uncomfortable if my husband was gifting me his dead sister's jewelry. I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of feel like a bit uncomfortable with the projection because it's feeling like projection. I do think some of it is very romantic, but I feel like he's trying to heal. But I feel like he's kind of using Alex to heal this part of himself, which to me, I don't know, I feel like it never ends well. Also, this dog joke, this running dog joke, I do not get it, but Alex has expressed multiple times that she doesn't like it, and he keeps doing it. So for me, this is somebody who doesn't respect boundaries, which for me is a red flag. And then now they've had this bust up, they've had this argument. In my opinion, it seems like he's the one who started the argument, despite saying that he's too grown for arguments. So now when Alex has now come to his level to argue back, he doesn't like it. So for me, it's like don't start nothing, won't be nothing. So for me, that's kind of like a red flag, because don't be saying, oh, I don't like arguments, but then be starting them, and then when somebody finishes the argument, you're hurt. And then we have Garrett. I think his name is, it is Garrett. Now, for me, I think right now he doesn't have any obvious red flags, but for me, what was a red flag is when he basically says that he often spends time alone. He disconnects and he spends time alone, and he hasn't really gone out of his way to, find a wife, seek a wife. Hence why he's come on this show. But I feel like if you have a pattern of solitude, is that going to change now that you have a wife? Are you going to enjoy now having to cut your solitude short because you have a wife? Because it's not like he worked his way up out of solitude and then was like, okay, I'm ready now, I want a wife. He just said, okay, I'm lonely, I feel like I should get a wife now, let me go on this show. But are you actually going to change your lifestyle? Also, in the trailer, we saw that basically he got a text from his ex-girlfriend, which is just really messy. It seems like he's trying to sweep that under the rug. Taylor ain't going for that. And then just what is very messy is the fact that Garrett has exclusively dated white women, and I feel like Taylor, who is Asian, might have a complex about that, and I'm not sure if he'll be able to deal with that. That's not necessarily a red flag. I think for me, the whole solitude thing and the text from the ex-girlfriend, but I just wanted to slip that in there because I was like, I'm not sure about that. And then the last person, I think his name is Ramos, correct me if I'm wrong. I'll find out after I film this. And you know what, I feel like he doesn't really have any obvious red flags, but I feel like he's just like not serious about marriage. He seems very wishy-washy. I think the only red flag that I can explicitly say is the fact that he just glossed over the fact that Marissa said that she dated a Trump supporter for 3 years, despite saying that she has progressive politics. And I believe he works in justice reform. So the fact that he just skipped over that, I think he did say, oh shit, was weird to me. It was quite strange. Also, I don't know if he's told Marissa that she looks like how he expected, but I don't think he thought Marissa would look like how she looks personally. I think he was expecting a different package. But let me know what you think. We did see a snippet of him in the trailer basically telling somebody else that if I wasn't engaged, I would sleep with you. I think he said that. So it clearly wasn't Marissa. Who was he saying it to? Probably we'll find out when he goes to the mixer. But yeah, in conclusion, this round of men are trash. Very poor quality. I forgot to say Nick, but Nick is also questionable. Watch out for him.